Here with us tonight is a group of winners who just made the entire nation proud. The men's gold medal Olympic hockey team. Come on in.
A championship team standing at the peak of its power, a White House invitation rooted in decades of American tradition, a State of the Union address broadcast to millions, and a single decision that sent ripples through both the sports world and the political arena. This is where the story truly begins. When reports emerged that the U.S. women's national hockey team declined an invitation connected to attending the State of the Union, the reaction was immediate, passionate, and deeply divided. Headlines surged across news platforms, commentators dissected every angle, and social media transformed into a battlefield of opinions. What might once have been a quiet scheduling matter suddenly became a defining cultural moment. Shortly afterward, Donald Trump publicly stated that the team would soon come to the White House, signaling that despite declining the State of the Union invite, a formal celebration of their achievements would still take place. With that single word, soon, the narrative shifted again, layering anticipation over controversy and turning a ceremonial tradition into a national conversation about symbolism, autonomy, and the evolving relationship between sports and politics. For generations, championship teams visiting the White House has symbolized the highest form of recognition in American life. It is a ritual steeped in history, designed to transcend party lines and celebrate excellence in its purest form. From Olympic heroes to professional sports dynasties, athletes have stood in the East Room beneath glittering chandeliers, shaking hands with presidents as cameras flashed and applause echoed through marble halls. These visits have traditionally been about unity, about honoring the relentless work, sacrifice, and teamwork required to rise to the top of the world stage. Yet in today's climate, even traditions once considered untouchable are viewed through a sharper, more political lens. The distinction between a championship celebration and attendance at the State of the Union is significant. The State of the Union is not merely ceremonial. It is a powerful political event in which the president outlines national priorities and legislative goals before Congress and the nation. Being present in that chamber carries symbolic weight that extends far beyond sports recognition. When the women's hockey team reportedly declined the State of the Union invitation, interpretations multiplied almost instantly. Some saw the decision as a bold assertion of independence, a deliberate choice to separate athletic achievement from partisan politics. Others interpreted it as unnecessary or divisive, arguing that national representation carries an expectation of participation in long-standing traditions. In the modern era, athletes exist under an intense spotlight where even silence can be interpreted as a statement. Every appearance, and every absence, is analyzed, debated, and sometimes politicized. The landscape has changed dramatically from decades past, when athletes were expected to remain apolitical and quietly accept ceremonial honors without question. Today's players understand their influence. They recognize that their presence at highly visible political events can be seen as endorsement, association, or alignment, whether intended or not. The response from Donald Trump added a powerful new dimension to the unfolding narrative. By declaring that the team would soon visit the White House, he appeared to reaffirm the tradition of honoring champions while separating it from the specific context of the State of the Union. Supporters viewed the statement as an effort to preserve unity and keep the spotlight on the team's remarkable accomplishments. Critics questioned whether the situation had become politicized in the first place and whether the public framing intensified the divide. The ambiguity of soon fueled speculation. Would there be a separate ceremony centered solely on hockey? Would every team member attend? Would the focus return to athletic excellence rather than political interpretation? In that uncertainty, the story gained even greater momentum. Yet beyond the headlines lies the undeniable legacy of the U.S. women's national hockey team itself. This is a program forged in discipline, sharpened by rivalry, and defined by championship resilience. Their Olympic gold medals and world titles were not handed to them. They were earned through relentless training, unwavering unity, and performances delivered under extraordinary pressure. On the ice, they have faced the fiercest international competition and emerged victorious, embodying determination and national pride. Off the ice, they have demonstrated leadership and courage, advocating for fairness and equitable treatment within women's sports. Their influence stretches far beyond the rink, inspiring young athletes and reshaping expectations for future generations. The broader context of this moment reflects a cultural evolution that extends well beyond hockey. Over the past decade, athletes across multiple sports have stepped into the national conversation, using their platforms to speak about issues they believe matter. Some Americans celebrate this evolution, seeing it as a natural extension of citizenship and free expression. Others long for a return to a time when sports were perceived as a sanctuary separate from political tension. The truth is more complex. In an interconnected, media-saturated world, sports do not exist in isolation. National teams represent the country not only in competition but also symbolically, and symbolism is powerful. Public reaction to this situation revealed the deep divides that define contemporary discourse. Supporters of the team emphasized personal freedom and the right to determine participation in political events. Critics stressed the importance of honoring tradition and participating in ceremonies meant to celebrate national unity. Comment sections, opinion columns, and televised debates amplified the conversation, often reducing nuanced perspectives into simplified narratives. Yet throughout the storm of commentary, one unshakable reality remained: the team's greatness on the ice was untouched by controversy. Championships are not erased by headlines. Gold medals do not tarnish under scrutiny. Their achievements remain etched into the history of American sport. At its core, this story is about more than a declined invitation. It is about how symbols carry meaning in a polarized era. The White House stands as a symbol of leadership and national identity. The State of the Union represents political direction and governance. A championship team symbolizes excellence, unity, and aspiration. When these symbols intersect, interpretation becomes inevitable. The declaration that the team will soon visit the White House suggests that tradition may endure, perhaps in a form more clearly centered on celebration rather than political context. It hints at a path forward where achievement remains the focal point. In the end, the U.S. women's national hockey team's legacy transcends any single event. Their story is written in grit, sacrifice, teamwork, and triumph. They have stood on podiums with medals gleaming, flags rising, and anthems playing, moments that unite fans across every political spectrum. Whether they step into the White House next month, next year, or not at all, their impact on American sports is profound and lasting. In an age where every action can become a headline and every choice can spark debate, they continue to represent strength, independence, and excellence. And perhaps that enduring legacy, forged through sweat, perseverance, and victory, is the most powerful symbol of all.